Hello, folks. Another AJ Sports podcast. How's up? We have returned like it never left. Today, we'll talk about college football week 8 and the World Series matchup. Let's get to the games already. The Thursday game, there was really one to be talked about, and they're both terrible. Virginia and Georgia Tech. Virginia won 16-9. Both are horrendous teams. Want to talk about another team that is straight up horrendous? Let's talk about Iowa. How the hell does this is like beyond stereotype Iowa? Good defense, bad offense. There's nothing more you can get here. Iowa did nothing on offense, while Ohio State didn't really play their best game, just go up and down the field. Iowa is not that bad, and to be honest, Kirk Ferentz might be past his expiration date. He might just have to go. He's got to get out of here. It's not because he's having a bad season. He just is no longer suitable for college football right now. He's past his expiration date. He's now he's a useless coach. He's useless. Kirk, retire coaching a high school level, buddy, because you are past your days as a college football coach. Tennessee destroyed Tennessee Martin. Even though I do have concerns for Tennessee's defense, I don't give a shit. You allowed 24 points. That's still concerning. And I had enough with this Tennessee just stupidity. They've got their hopes up to a high that surpasses Notre Dame every fucking year. And when you surpass Notre Dame, false hope, it only makes me want to see these guys eventually fall short. And they're facing Georgia in 2 weeks. First of all, they face Kentucky. They ain't no get. I know it's at Neyland. I think they'll win the game, but they ain't no gimme. There could be a chance that Kentucky knocks them off. I'm sick and tired of these Tennessee fans going, "Woo, we have the best offense in the country. Georgia ain't played nobody." And first of all, shut the fuck up to any fan base who claims, they don't play nobody. They don't. First of all, Georgia absolutely murdered Oregon. And Oregon's out here averaging over 45 points per game or something. You know what? Let's look this up. Let's get this. Let's fact check this. Oregon averages 42.4 points per game. Their defense is not very good. They don't have a great defense. But Oregon could score a bunch of points. And they only scored 3 on Georgia. And Tennessee fans are like, Oregon's terrible! Shut up. Congratulations. You beat an Alabama team that self-destructed themselves. I promise you, you will lose to Georgia in 2 weeks. I can't wait. So you fucking ball fans can shut the hell up. Get one of these. Get one of these, Tennessee fans. Stupid ass fan base cheering on players getting injured. Fuck you. And I mean it too. You've learned nothing. Getting your hopes up every year. Remember back in the day when Butch Jones gave you 9 straight wins? I don't know. I don't think that ended in disaster. Spoiler alert, it did. Your program's relevant for the first time, truly relevant for the first time since the early 2000s. And after Philip Vollmer came to Earth, your program has been treading water. Congratulations, you're back for this year. But will you be back for the long term? Or this is just going to be a great season and you fall apart? Like it happened in the last 20 years. Make your choice, Tennessee. Make your choice. On to the next game. Clemson versus Syracuse. A game that had the momentum of all momentums. Syracuse jumped to a 21-7 lead. DJ Ugalele played absolutely awful. Eventually was benched for Klubnik, a guy that Cade Klubnik, a guy that there was speculation if DJ Ugalele played terrible, he would start over. And knowing Dabo Sweeney, he does not give no shits about quarterback pedigree. If you play terrible, he's gonna bench your ass. I mean, he did it with Kelly Bryant. Remember 2018? Kelly Bryant just was struggling against A&M, and Dabo is like, "I take your ass back. Take your ass this. I'm not playing with you." Brings in Trevor Lawrence, and they won. And I think Dabo tried to start Kelly Bryant on another game, but it wasn't working out. And Lawrence took over and won the national title. Would this happen to DJ? Who knows? Maybe this was just one bad game, and he's doing better. He was terrible last year. His first game was, but he's looked good. Especially Clemson had their toughest schedule. They play like Wake Forest, NC State, Florida State ain't too bad, and DJ played well in practically all those games. This game against Clemson didn't go that way. There's also a controversial kind of reffing. We know how this goes. A Syracuse player stepped out of bounds, late hit, flag. Those Clemson players stepped out of bounds, gets late hit, and he gets flagged. And the Syracuse player gets late hit, and the rest in phony. So a better ending to Syracuse, but the better team won, kind of despite themselves. Clemson's at this point, it seems like Clemson's going to run the table and make the playoffs. But man, they're not as explosively good as they were when Trevor Lawrence was out. And man, Dabo Sweeney, some transfers could have helped that, buddy. You gotta adapt, buddy. You gotta start adapting. Because if you don't, there could be problems. Cincy barely beats SMU. Cincinnati is 6-1. Despite all the loss of talent, Cincinnati is still proving that they're a good team and a good ass program. SMU, y'all are definitely missing Sony Dykes. Kansas, oh god. I actually pray to God that Kansas just doesn't falter and misses a bowl game. They lost again to Baylor. Yeah, Baylor's a good ass team. They've been underachieving. They're probably pissed off. But man, Kansas, this is your third straight loss. Please don't end like 2009, where you won 5 straight. Then you just straight up collapsed. You pulled off of Colorado a few years ago in 2009. I pray to God that doesn't happen. Because Lance LeBold seems to be a good coach. He took a D3 program to a powerhouse. He had a couple good seasons at Buffalo. I hope it doesn't end up like that. And let's share the giggles how you lost to Rutgers. Let's share that giggle. Alabama just spanked Mississippi State. Man, Mississippi State's offense has been struggling. Couldn't score a goddamn points in the final play. Going for it like in your own territory multiple times. Why are some teams injecting that false hope drug and thinking they can start going for it on whatever they want? Do y'all forget that situational football exists? You guys forgot that? I don't know, bro. What the hell? And speaking of what the hell, Miami. Hold on. Hold on. 8 turnovers. Miami has a losing record right now. They got absolutely obliterated by Duke. Y'all are bad. Y'all are bad. Notre Dame did win, so we all suffer because of that. It's a sad day that when Notre Dame wins. Thank God this year the fans are not ejecting the Falls as much as they have in the past. But man, Notre Dame, please join a conference and quit faking your superiority of college football. Ole Miss, man, I really thought this team could really be a threat to Alabama. They still can be, but that took a massive blow against LSU. LSU in the second half. What was the score? Let's see what the score. It was close in the first half. It was 20-17. Ole Miss with the lead in the second half. Again, after the first half, when the second half came, it was a murder. LSU just straight up dog walked Ole Miss. The passing game that kind of was not their strength just became the ultimate weakness against LSU. LSU just dominated. LSU, I think it's time to kind of stop cringing Brian Kelly a little bit. This was a mediocre ass LSU team that is overachieving. They're 6-2. They ain't gonna win no SEC titles this year. No, but their goal was to show some improvement, show that hey, LSU is going in the right direction after the fall of the program, which was the start of the 2020 season. Oregon just continues to, man, can this Oregon team just, it's like the Chip Kelly days. They score a bunch of points at will. Bo Nix, is it really just Bo Nix that was bad at Auburn? Or something that Auburn did to hold Bo Nix back? Because Bo Nix has been otherworldly at Oregon. He's completing passes at an alarming rate. That running game, just plunging through defenses, absolutely dominating UCLA. The score was 45-10, but it was not close as it looked like. They just destroyed an undefeated UCLA team. We might need to stop talking about how good USC and UCLA is. We need to start talking about how just exciting and dominant Oregon really is. I don't know. Is it just me that's just watched just how dominant Oregon has played? I don't know. I hope I'm not the only one that's saying that. Quinn Ewers, the good old freshman quarterback, he's played very well. Ran to his first bad game. And the yards doesn't say it, but the completion to the attempts is bad. He only completed 19 out of his 49 passes. Bijan Robinson was again great, but that was just not going to be enough to beat Oklahoma State. And Texas still managed to keep it close. But at the end, Quinn Ewers just couldn't get it done, especially in the fourth quarter. Oklahoma State wins again. And Texas, they're 5-3. I don't give a shit how that season's going to end. They overachieved in my book. Because I thought that Texas would just barely make a bowl game. How injured and battered they were at the start of the season. They're 5-3. No Big 12 title game in my opinion. But they're in the right direction after the horrendous they were last year. So they're trending up. And we'll see how the rest of the season goes. They're still a good-ass team. Wake Forest, another good-ass team. They did what they had to do. Destroyed a Boston College team 43-15. I don't even say any more of that. Tulane is 7-1. They beat Memphis. You want some laughs? Here's some giggles. BYU is 4-4. Got absolutely destroyed by Liberty. I think it's even more fun to poke at BYU because BYU is just not that big of a college football team. Even though you did you beat? No, you didn't beat Oregon. You beat Notre Dame. Yeah, you beat Notre Dame. You got crushed by Oregon. Okay. Purdue, their house of horrors. Madison, Wisconsin. They got destroyed 35-24. Aiden O'Connell turned to self-destruction mode. Hey, Purdue could run the ball this time around. Nope, don't matter. Self-destruction. It's called Madison, Wisconsin. It doesn't. They don't care how that Paul Christ is out of here. The fact that you cannot win in Madison. Maryland beating Northwestern. Northwestern is terrible. Northwestern is terrible. Marshall beats Jake Madison, if you want to know that. Stanford has won consecutive games? What? They beat Arizona State 15-14. That's pretty cool. I never thought they would win another consecutive game. They talked about Alabama. Minnesota, they're not going to make the Big Ten championship game anymore. They got drugged off the field by Penn State. It was not even close. South Carolina beats A&M. Texas A&M, deal with this hell for another years because you are not firing Jimbo Fisher. Let's just, for the lul's sakes, let's just look up Jimbo Fisher's buyout. It is like a ridiculous amount of money. $85 million if they decided to fire Jimbo Fisher. That ain't happening. No way that the Texas A&M as a university just goes right and says, "Hey, Jimbo Fisher, here's $85 million to fuck out and get out of College Station." Not gonna happen. They're not gonna fire Jimbo Fisher for years. And man, a lot of programs are starting to regret or starting to learn their lesson. Maybe don't be paying these coaches that ridiculous amount of money and that ridiculous a contract just for your good for 1 year. Now, Jimbo Fisher, I think he's just overrated. He is not that good of a coach. He only won a national championship at Florida State thanks to great assistant coaches and talent. That's just my opinion. My case is getting proven right. So, congratulations, Texas A&M. Deal with this hell for years, because they ain't gonna stop. Kansas State had a 28-10 lead over TCU. Well, that proved it obsolete. TCU just roared back into the game and took over. They just took over the game. Max Duggan is really good as a quarterback. And whoever this Kendre Miller is, he's really damn good. He's been good all year long. So, man, TCU, they're 7-0. Do I really think they can run the table and finish the season like 12-0? It's possible. I really don't see it likely. Let's look at TCU's schedule. I don't think it's that much of a gauntlet, but TCU, I mean, their last TCU is TCU, too many games are just close. They had a close game against SMU, who doesn't seem as good. Yes, you destroyed Oklahoma, but it was close against Kansas. It's close against Oklahoma State. And TCU was they had to come back and beat Kansas State. I don't know, man. They gotta start dominating. And they gotta start dominating West Virginia. Texas Tech. Beat up Texas, beat up Baylor, and beat Iowa State. They gotta start dominating, or else if they play just bad enough and their opponent just plays good enough, TCU is going to get knocked. It's hard for me to see a scenario where TCU makes the playoffs with one loss. It just, this season's kind of crazy. It seems, it seems that there's a great chance that two SEC teams make it. I think Clemson's going to get in. I think they'll run the table. They're just far the best team in the ACC. Ohio State or Michigan, they're going to make it. So I think, in my honest opinion, unless we see just great, like beyond monumental upsets, which can happen, it's college football. We've already seen upsets this year. It just seems like to me that TCU's just going to have to go undefeated to make the playoffs, it seems like. And honestly, I hope they do. I hope they run the table. Just get a new dog in there in the playoffs. Just prove that Sonny Dykes is very good as a head coach. But we'll see how it goes. Good luck to them along the way. Washington barely beats Cali. Cali is like not a team like you can dog walk this year, but Washington's overachieved this year. They're 6-2. Michael Penix is throwing absolute dots everywhere. But come on, it's Cali. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Before I get to the World Series matchup and just how I think it's going to go down, let's look up some games we'll talk about that will be huge in Week 9. Ohio State will travel to State College to take on Penn State. I think Ohio State should win, and Ohio State has dominated Penn State over the last decade, but we'll see how it goes. Oklahoma plays Iowa State. Is Oklahoma any competent? Hopefully they are. Syracuse plays Notre Dame. We'll see if Syracuse can bounce back. Florida and Georgia, I don't think it's going to be close. I think Georgia just beats up Florida, in my opinion. Oklahoma State plays at Kansas State. This is a game where Oklahoma State can get knocked off. So they got to play their best game against Kansas State, in my opinion. Cincinnati travels to UCF. UCF, they dominate when they play good, but when they play like crap, they lose. Kentucky and Tennessee, that game can have some fireworks. Maybe not the most exciting week with matchups, but this is college football, so there's going to be some chaos that's going to occur this week. World Series. The Astros do it again. They just killed. The Yankees just were obsolete. They got destroyed. They wanted Houston. Oh, they got Houston. They got crushed. The Yankees, your home run or bust approach just doesn't help you win playoff games. IFK is a good hitter, but the dude cannot field. He cannot play defense for some reason. Like, he literally can't play defense to save himself. And the Astros just seem to be the beyond far superior team. I really hope the Astros win, in my opinion. So they can just move on and shut up about 2017. Dusty Baker may not be the most likable manager, but he has managed baseball. First of all, the guy has had heartbreaks as a manager. 1993, they were leading the NL West for much of the season. It came down to one game. The Braves won their game. The Giants got beat up by the Dodgers. No playoffs for the Giants. This was back to where he had two divisions. He had to win that division to make the postseason in 1993. The rest of that decade in the 90s, You lost in 97 to the Marlins, 98 wild card game loss, 2000 the Mets, 2001 you couldn't qualify to postseason, 2002 you were leading 5-0 in Game 6 in the World Series. They collapsed. Dusty goes on to the Cubs. They collapsed in Game 6 in the 2003 NLCS. He couldn't win with the Reds. He couldn't win much with the Nationals. Like they made the playoffs in his two stints, just did nothing. So it'll be nice to see Dusty Baker win a World Series and just right off to the sunset of his career. It'll just be nice to see. The Phillies, they remind you that 2006 Cardinals and 1987 Twins or the 2019 Nationals. This team that like literally yells mediocrity, all of a sudden get red hot in the postseason. They beat the Cardinals. They just destroyed the Braves, if we're being honest, and they beat the Padres, a team that added a bunch of dudes to try to contend for a World Series. This team just really, really has got it going for this season. Realmuto, Rhys Hoskins, Segura, Baum, he's had a good season. They added Brennan Marsh to get some contact hitting, which turned out to be a huge signing. But Kyle Schwarber, he's really hitting home runs. And Bryce Harper is having the postseason of his life. We all know Bryce Harper is a supreme talent. But he has really cultivated and just great this postseason. Just great. Home runs, doubles, singles, doesn't matter. Just absolute domination. The pitching staff is a little bit of a wild card, but Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler have been aces for this season. Just aces. So what you get is a mismatch, but should be an entertaining World Series. I think the Astros win in 6 games. I see the Astros win in 6 games. I think the Phillies will win a game where they shouldn't be, when they shouldn't win, because that's just how the Phillies have done. The Astros are just well too balanced. They're just way too balanced of a team. They have depth everywhere. And hopefully Dusty Baker just kind of stays out of the way. And he's made the right moves this postseason, but man, it's hard to forget the times where he moved the wrong Jenga blocks in the past. So hopefully he just kind of stays low key and just lets his guys dominate, because that's what they have all season. So there you go. That's the episode of Week 8 of college football and the World Series matchup. Thank you for watching.